Hey, what's going on there, people? My name is Matt and welcome to my travel blog. This is actually part 2 where we go to Geneva, Switzerland. So if you haven't seen part 1, I recommend you go to my channel and check it out right now. So we had arrived in Geneva after 5 long days in Amsterdam. We stayed in a hostel the entire time, so I was pretty exhausted. It really was great going from Amsterdam to Geneva because we went from all that hustle and bustle to a more calm and tranquil city. The first thing we did was we went and just walked around Lake Geneva. There's some really nice artwork all around and it's really just picturesque and beautiful. You can barely just see the Alps in the distance and it really is a sight to see. We made our way to the Fair des Pacus and that's this public swimming area. It's really nice. I think you may have to even pay to get there in the summer, but it was free for us and it was really enjoyable just walking out there and checking everything out. I would have loved to jump in the water with everyone else, however, unfortunately, I did not bring my swim trunks along for this trip. As we continue to walk, Geneva really proved that it had some great parks in the area. It had some really old and nice trees, and in the fall, with all the changing leaves, it really was extremely enjoyable. From there, connected to the park we were in, was an actual botanical garden, and I wasn't really sure what to expect when I originally heard this, but when we got there, it was completely free and it was just a super nice area. There was tons of all these exotic little animals and everything going around. Definitely something that was extremely nice and really started off Geneva on the right foot for us. Shortly after that, we went to the UN headquarters, which is actually stationed in Geneva. It was $10 for a tour there, and it ended up being a really cool experience.
Anywhere in Europe.
I didn't really expect this at all, but there was all these rooms where all these, world leaders would talk and discuss these issues, and the rooms a lot of times were decorated with this really cool artwork. It was awesome being able to see this and see where historical things were discussed and talked about, and all of the world's most powerful people come and gather. It was just an awesome experience and something that I'll remember Geneva forever because of it. John actually made an interesting point afterwards where he said he never understood how some kids could grow up wanting to be politicians or ambassadors or whatever, but having gone to the UN building, you really could see why. It kind of even made me want to be like, oh, I could actually be an ambassador. I definitely couldn't, but it was cool being able to see that and definitely had an appeal to it for sure.
There's a lot of big rooms with, I'm sure, a lot of important people sitting in them, so it's kind of cool to be there. Geneva's really pretty. A lot of trees, a lot of water, a lot of space. It's very fresh and refreshing, that's the word. It's a very refreshing city.
Another thing is Geneva is very expensive. It has a lot of really nice watch shops and retail shops and whatnot. Switzerland in general, we always hear about this, but they have a lot more money to spend and stuff. However, for an American budget college traveler like myself, it was really hard to go out. We didn't go out a single time, so we had to resort to just eating in grocery stores the entire time. So the afternoon we walked around and just checked out the downtown a little bit more. It was cool being able to walk around. It really wasn't anything too special. Entertaining enough for an hour or two of just walking around, seeing some of the cool buildings and whatever. But I ended up seeing one of the best sunsets that I had seen my entire study abroad. So that definitely ended out my day on a very great note. Next morning we woke up and walked into France. There we started our hike up to a mountain in a French town called Solève, I believe. It was a really great hike. It was very exhausting at first because it was completely all uphill. However, in the cool autumn breeze and whatnot, it was immensely enjoyable. And if you're in Geneva, this is something I think you should really consider checking out. We got to the top, it was actually really interesting and something I did not expect. There was a little village on top and people all, lived there and had their homes and stuff up there. I really didn't expect that, and it would be crazy just imagining growing up on the top of a mountain like that. The view at the top was definitely worth the hike, and we even found like a little warship place and whatnot. It was just a really cool experience. The trail itself was a little dodgy at some parts. We got lost for a little bit. However, it's definitely worth fighting through and seeing the amazing view at the top and looking over Geneva itself. We walked a little bit further along the top of the mountain and eventually made it to the Railcar Station, and that's where the lazy people who don't want to hike but still want to get the view can just pay and go right up. It was definitely cool being able to see that view from there. We actually sat down and got some tea and John got a soup. It was nice just being able to have that small reward after reaching the top of the mountain, and definitely something I recommend. After that, we were running out of time. We needed to catch our train to Geneva, so we hit the rail car and went down, and it was really cool. It was a really great view and whatnot. However, the rail car was pretty crowded. We only had a day and a half in Geneva. However, I think this is really the perfect amount of time you could spend there. We definitely did not see everything that was to be seen in this trip. However, we never were bored. We never had any downtime. And so really, I think 1.5 to 2 days is the perfect amount of time. We gathered our things and we went to the train station and we were quickly off to Zurich. So that was the end of part 2 of the series in Geneva. Remember to stick until the end so you can watch part 3. If you enjoyed the video, as always, remember to like it and support my work. And if you want to see more of it, make sure to subscribe so you can always stay up to date with my latest videos. So yeah guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great one.